The dream is over. That's the big story we are tracking. It is a very, very sad end to the World Cup of cricket for India. India have lost against Australia in the semi-finals, which was played in Sydney by 95 runs. Australia, batting first, had made 329. India, 233 all out. At the end of the day, it all boiled down to chasing a score which seemed larger and larger by the minute. The run rate was just too much. MS Dhoni tried his best, but his 60-plus innings was just not enough for India to make it. I'm joined by my colleague Akash, who's been tracking all of these developments. Akash, we've had a number of fantastic matches. This World Cup, sadly today, that dream is over.
Well, that's right, Vishnu. After 7 consecutive wins, India have finally had their first defeat. Unfortunately, this was a knockout match, which meant that the loser has to go out of the tournament, and it happens to be the defending champions, India. Remember, interestingly, Vishnu, it was India who ended Australia's 12-year reign as world champions when they knocked them out in the 2011 World Cup quarterfinals. Australia, of course, wanted to pay that favor back to the Indians, and they've done it today. You have to say that overall it was the better team that won today. A 95-run win margin is a huge margin. 328 runs is what the Aussies scored batting first. It was the first time in this World Cup that India could not bowl out their opposition. They had done it in all 7 previous matches. This time, for the first time ever, 300 runs and more were scored in a World Cup semi-final match. India had to make history if they had to chase that target of 329 down, but they have faltered, and they were bowled out for 233, which means that the Aussies have won by a comfortable margin of 95 runs, right. Which means now it's Australia versus New Zealand, Vishnu. The 2 co-hosts have reached the final.
Dhoni 65, Rahane 44, Dhawan 45 as well. So it's not as if, the team bundled and cracked completely under pressure. At the end of the day, that total was just too much to chase down. And let's just look at why that may have been the case. Why was it too much? The start was good. There were some chances, but India survived. We were more than 70 for the loss of just 1 wicket. And then things started going wrong. There was a middle order collapse before Dhoni eventually came to the crease.
Absolutely, Vishnu. You've really hit the nail on the head with that one. Because if you see the pattern of the wins that we've had so far in the tournament before this match, of course, the 7 matches that India won, each and every player, especially the batsmen, knew their role very, very well. So with Shikhar and Rohit Sharma opening, if one of the openers fell early, then the man coming in third, which is Virat Kohli, would then steady the innings. He would take his time to settle down before he went for the big shots. Then when the next batsman got out, the one coming in next knew his role very well. So whether they were batting first or they were chasing, they all knew their roles very well. This time around, but I have to mention before I go on here, Vishnu, that this was only, I think, the 3rd time that India were chasing in this World Cup. And India batted first most of the time, because most of the teams who won the toss opted to bat first.
Right.
Today they lost the toss. It was a crucial toss to lose. Because Michael Clarke, once he won the toss, had absolutely no hesitation.
But if there was any team that could possibly have chased down 300, it would likely be India, because 50 times.
Absolutely.
You've done it in the past more than any other team. The second best team has done it only, 8 odd times. Yes. Let's go straight across now to Amitoj Singh, who joined us. Amitoj, just give us an idea, a sense of what's happening around you. There must be a sense of deep disappointment and elation. It depends on who you're asking. Tell us what's happening around you.
Camera. Well, Vishnu and Akash, I've been hearing you for a while now, but what I can tell you is that the fans have been trickling out for a while also. We've got some Aussies with us. Let's give them the mic first, not the Indians, because they're here, they won it, they deserved it. Did you expect such an easy win?
Not so easy, mate, but I'm pretty stoked they got up and won.
All right.
Yeah, pretty happy.
You know, I'm noticing one thing: the Aussies are not celebrating that much. Your focus is on winning the World Cup, really, right?
It's the final, mate. Yeah. The final, you get a big trophy at the end. This game, you just go on to the final, you know.
All right,
good to win.
But what did you think? What did you think about the fact that what was the clincher for you? What was the turning point in this game for you guys?
Kohli getting out for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. You know, I expected him to go on, make a fast, at least a half century. And
right. There was some Indians who actually walked out with their chest puffed, and I'll tell you why. Because they're from New Zealand, and they're saying And they are basically saying that, hey man, it doesn't matter, New Zealand is going to win.
Well, I can tell you, the culture within the New Zealand team is absolutely strong. We've got everybody stepping up at a different time. We've got Brendan Cullum is absolutely devastating, and the Aussies are scared. Watch out, Aussie, we're coming.
Okay, but what was it for you that India lost? I mean, what happened that India lost for you?
Well, I think, the top order batsmen going out quite early, and, it was a big run chase, and we really needed to sustain it for a long time.
All right, let me just say out about 4 points that I think made the difference, and let me see whether you guys agree with me. The first point, the toss, for me was the most important.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we've lost that signal with Amitoj. We'll come back to him over there. Obviously, the Aussie fans, Akash, are going to be gloating now. It's Australia versus New Zealand. It's the final which a lot of people had actually expected. Both teams playing exceptionally well in home conditions. How much do you believe or do you think that today's match went down to the toss? Obviously, batting second is not what Dhoni would have liked to have done, but he didn't have a choice in that. How important was the toss, winning the toss for Australia?
Toss was very important, Vishnu, and I'm saying that just going by the nature of the pitch. Now, when you look at the Sydney Cricket Ground pitch, traditionally it's a flat deck. Traditionally it assists spinners. Traditionally it's not a very fast pitch, which means that even if you have the quickest bowlers in your ranks, the batsmen, once the initial swing is nullified, and if they settle down, they can go on to score big runs. And that is what we saw today. David Warner fell very early. He fell for 12 because he was done in by the pace of Umesh Yadav.
Yeah.
But after that, the way Stephen Smith and Aaron Finch batted, you have to take your hat off, especially to that young man, Stephen Smith.
But let's flip it around. The deck wasn't bad to bat on even batting second. It was just pressure
chasing,
and better
yes,
bowling.
Whenever you're chasing,
despite some
above
exceptional
300.
bowling by the likes of Yadav, who took 4 wickets, at the end of the day, facing after the likes of Stark and Johnson on this wicket would have been difficult. But the wicket itself played true throughout the match.
Yes, the wicket played through, and you could tell that even by the way some of the tail-enders were hitting the shots. Like someone like, even when Ravindra Jadeja came into bat, those two fours that he hit through square, those two fours showed that the ball was coming onto the bat rather easily. But of course, when you're chasing anything over in excess of 300, the pressure is bound to get to you. Today also, some of the batsmen and that gentleman who the Amitoj had with him, one of them mentioned Virat Kohli.
Yes.
Virat Kohli has really been the backbone of the Indian batting, and especially when it comes to chases. If I can quickly remember a stat, when he got his 19th ODI 100, Vishnu, 13 of them were in chases, and 12 out of those 13 times India went on to win. So he, of course, is a pivotal, a linchpin really in the Indian batting. Today, of course, again, he was done in by the pace. He went for that pull shot. It was never there for him to go for that shot, and it was an easy catch.
Let's also talk about the opening partnership. There was also this very interesting statistic that said that whenever Shikhar Dhawan scores a 50 outside India, India actually goes on to win the match. He didn't score a 50 today, 45. He scored 45. Yes. But the way he was batting was really good. After some initial chances and things like that, he seemed to be taking it away from the Aussies. He got out at a very bad time for India.
Absolutely. That was a very crucial turning point, if I can call it that, in the match. I think he went for one shot too many. Because, as you mentioned, that the ball was coming on well onto the bat. He had somehow found his rhythm after that drop catch, and he was feeling very confident. But I think he went for one shot too many. That shot was not on at that time. And if Shikhar had continued, then of course things could have well been different.
Okay, let's just go back to Amitoj Singh. Amitoj, you were telling us what's happening around you. Lots of gloating Aussie fans, I assume. Be careful over there, Amitoj, but do bring us your reactions for as long as you can before you run away.
Vishnu, I heard that.
Except for your mum.
Yeah, Vishnu, all I heard was that you used the word gloating, and I'm actually gonna let them gloat for a bit because they deserve it. They actually won this match. It's 95 runs, it's a big victory. But why don't you come on my left first? All right? Thank you.
And I'll stand on your left as well.
That's fine. Now tell me something. Now tell me, as an Indian, I have to ask you all a question. Very simple question. You're playing New Zealand. Why are you celebrating right now? New Zealand beat you. They set the record.
Yeah, we haven't lost in Australia this whole World Cup, and we won 7 one-days in a row before this, so that's why we're celebrating.
All right, so tell me something, because you were completely drowned out by the Indian fans, despite the fact that they lost. But can you tell me, if you had a cheer against New Zealand, what would it be?
Aussie!
All right. How are you going to tackle Brendan McCullum? Who's got an answer to that?
Richard Stark. Simple as that.
All right.
2 words.
All right. Did you think India deserved to lose by 95 runs?
Absolutely. They played like
95 runs?
they played like a busted ass at the end.
That's a bit harsh, but okay, we're going to let that go. Vishnu, so there you go. A lot of the Aussies out here.
Curry, mate.
Sorry?
Just a bit too much curry there, mate.
All right, they're being very sporting. We know the Aussies to be sporting. They're going to rub it in. We guys have been standing here and everyone's been passing in and saying, hey, hello, you're from India? Back to you guys, Vishnu.
Okay, fine. Amitoj, we'll come back to you in just a while. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's just go straight across now to all our correspondents across the country. I wish the news were different. Unfortunately, it's not, but people are still reacting. Sona, let me go across to you first. What's happening around you?
Well, Vishnu, when Akash and I spoke earlier in the day, this place that he showed you was jam-packed. We didn't have chairs. We were sitting on the floor. And just look at what left of this place now. Chairs all over the place. People have left. Disappointed. And as you rightly said, the dream is clearly over. What do you think about it? It's a dream lost, but 95 runs, like really?
Our top order collapsed, it just like collapsed. Sad, yes, very disappointed, considering Team India had like really spoiled us. We were expecting a different result and it's very disappointing. We just have to give it back now.
We have to give it back. But who's been the biggest disappointment in all of this?
I think Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli. But do you think Johnson has been one person who's been so lethal? All those runs in the death overs and those wickets as well.
Yeah, because this is his birthday, so he got his present to go to the World Cup and he can show something. But what we can do, we lose by 95 runs. It's so disappointing.
We can just say that the best will only win, and they won.
Yeah, of course, the best goes.
Because they were better than us.
AB de Villiers say best goes for the World Cup, and Australia's was the best.
No regrets, no words really how to define this moment. What about you? You're called Khushi, but how khush are you really today? It's really sad, right?
No, I'm definitely not happy because we lost it and we've given it back now. But let's not discredit the boys altogether. They got us still here, but yes, still, and it is a disappointment.
It is quite a disappointment. What about you?
Our hopes was very high, but unfortunately we lose the match. So what we can do? Now go for the finals. Cheer for the New Zealand now.
Well, let's cheer for New Zealand. I think that's another important point.
New Zealand! Go on, New Zealand!
Anybody who can beat Australia at this point, right?
Yeah, New Zealand, bold.
All right, that's the sentiment really. Somebody's saying Johnson was the one who's really got his big birthday present here. But what a loss. 95 runs, really we could have done perhaps a little better, especially with the way we've performed entire, through the tournament.
All right, well, let's just go in and get a couple of more reactions now. Siddharth Ranjan Das, what's happening? I beg your pardon. Let's go first to Anand Patel. Anand, what exactly is happening? I can see a lot of sad faces around you. We all wish the circumstances were different. But is anybody blaming anyone in particular, or are people saying, look, we've had a great World Cup up till now, we've lost one match, that's the roll of the dice?
Absolutely, Vishnu. Though it was a working day, but the fans were glued to the TV sets through the day. But at the end of the day, it's a disappointment for all of us. I have my bunch of experts, to do the post-mortem of the match. Let me just ask them straight away. क्या लगता है टॉस हारे उसके बाद से ही मैच हार गए थे कि बीच में लगा आपको जब शुरुआत अच्छी हुई इंडियन इनिंग्स की तो लग रहा था कि उम्मीद है टॉस हारना itself it's not a lose. They didn't bowled and they didn't play bat well. That's why they lost the game. अच्छा. Yeah. And कौन विलन कौन है आज के मैच का इंडियन टीम में?
देखो ये नहीं कह सकता कि इंडिया टीम में आज कोई विलन है. ये तो कुदरती भगवान ने उनका आज बहुत साथ दिया. समय भी आज उनके साथ में था, वातावरण भी उनके अनुकूल था, एक उनका अपना होम टाउन था, तो उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन करा. हमारी किस्मत खराब की हम वर्ल्ड कप के पास पहुंचते पहुंचते भी उसको टच नहीं कर पाए. सातों के साथ मैच उन्होंने 7 मैच बहुत अच्छे खेल के बहुत अच्छा खेला. अब मैं नहीं कहता ये मैच ऐसा होता है कि जरूरी नहीं है कि, पर हम डिसपॉइंटेड इसलिए कि बिल्कुल वर्ल्ड कप के पास होते हुए वापस हो गए.
और युवराज की कमी खल गई. पिछले वर्ल्ड कप में अहमदाबाद में ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हराया था, उसमें युवराज का बहुत बड़ा रोल था.
आज अगर महसूस तो होता है कि इतने अच्छे जो प्लेयर प्रॉपर फाइटर चाहिए था वो नहीं थे आज हमें पता लगा कि हमारे में फाइटर और भी कमी है।
There you have it, the fighters were not there in Team India. आप बताइए क्या लगता है आपको, विराट कोहली ने डिसअपॉइंट किया आज?
बिल्कुल सर, विराट कोहली ने बहुत ज्यादा डिसअपॉइंटेड किया और अगर देखा जाए तो आज प्रोफेशनलिज्म नहीं था टीम में। जैसे वो पहले प्रोफेशनल खेले हैं, आज प्रोफेशनलिज्म नहीं था। अगर आप उसका शिखर धवन का शॉट देख लें, वो शॉट बहुत ही गैर जिम्मेदाराना शॉट था, अभी उसकी जरूरत नहीं थी। आप कोहली को देख लो, कोहली ने जो बॉल छेड़ी है वो कोई छेड़ने वाली बॉल थी ही नहीं, और आप पहले अगर बॉलिंग से स्टार्ट हो तो बॉलिंग भी उस तरह की नहीं हुई जैसी होनी चाहिए।
आज का मैच देख के लगता है कि पाकिस्तान अगर जीत गई